Welcome to the Book It Penitentiary.
Welcome to Book It, a wrestling podcast where we book and revisit your favorite wrestling storylines. I'm your commissioner, Hi-Fi Mike, and today I have your GMs, Damone, D Money Allen,
Whoop whoop.
Primetime Travie T,
What's up?
and Hollywood.
Oh, hey.
And today we got with us a special guest who's been on the podcast before, Ruben. Welcome, Ruben, back to the show.
Thank you for having me once again.
And Ruben is now a T1three Media Triple Crown champion. He's been on all three shows. The only show he hasn't been on is Lunch Lady Mantra. He's the only one outside of some of the main hosts.
Outside of us.
Right, that have been able to, the first one to do that with as many people as we bring on to our shows.
Mike's still not got it.
3 shows. What?
Mike, he said Mike still hasn't gotten it.
Oh, I have though, but I just.
No, you haven't. It doesn't count.
I was on trigger warning. I just fell asleep.
Prove it.
I can prove it if
You
you want.
fell
I'll put it
asleep
out.
when you were the guest on a podcast.
Well,
Yes,
to
he
be
did.
fair, we had just done Book It. Ooh, that was weird. We had just done Book It, and then they started we started doing trigger warning, and then they started talking about MMA. I'm like, I don't fucking know shit. And they're like, oh, we're just gonna talk about it for a whole second, and then a half hour later, they're still talking about it. So that was that. And then when we went to go release it, I'm like, I don't want to release this episode because it was way out of date at that point, and I was asleep. Anyways, so this episode we are gonna talk about WrestleMania 35, which just happened over the past weekend. At this point, it'd probably be about a week ago. Usually, if you're listening to it when this podcast drops, which drops on Fridays. But so for WrestleMania 35, Travis, Damone, and myself, we were all in the same room, and actually Ruben was there too. So we all watched WrestleMania together. We sat around for 7.5 hours. Kevin, unfortunately, was not able to make it into.
Because I'm in Canada.
Yeah, because I
on
was
the
in
opposite side of the continent.
We're still working on the tunnel.
So,
The tunnel,
Yeah.
the tunnel's coming. And
Build
then
the
We're gonna
tunnel.
tunnel.
Build the tunnel.
build the tunnel.
Build
Okay.
the tunnel.
We'll get that going,
Yeah.
and then she'll be able. Maybe she'll be able
Yeah.
to make
So
one of
I watched-
WrestleManias.
I watched wrestling by myself, and it was very sad.
That
It was
not-
a long time to be alone and to pop by myself. Popping alone is not very fun. Anyway, aside from my dark, sad, depressing life, let's move on.
We're gonna go over the review of WrestleMania 35. First, we're gonna do a quick go over. Wow, I can't think of words tonight. Anyways, we're gonna
Okay.
synopsis. Yeah,
Review.
I am apparently a bad host tonight. Anyways, so we are gonna go right into it. Ruben, what did
Not
you
touching
think
that.
about the 7.5 hour WrestleMania?
I mean, aside from a couple matches on the pre-show, which we're not covering, so they don't exist, I think that the show was well paced. There wasn't any single match that didn't have its purpose on the card, whether in timeline or placement.
Proactive
All had a
shots
story
fired.
to tell. I mean, again, it was a good show. There were a couple moments I wish had been a little bit more happy, and we'll still talk about it when Corbin and Angle come up. But other than that, I mean, well paced show, well placed card placement, and I loved it.
I like how he preempted it. Ready for Travis. So.
Yeah, let's get right into this.
So,
Okay,
Travis,
first
go
off-
ahead and let me know what you thought about WrestleMania 35.
Okay, as I'm looking at this, I have decided I've made the executive decision that we will discuss the pre-show because I need to say
No.
something about it.
Thank God.
Sorry, Kev, but
It's gonna be a 7-hour-long podcast.
we'll be
We-
quick.
Oh,
Jesus.
well.
Anyway, as I said, as Ruben heard before, and he's I don't know what the word is, but I can't think of the word.
Preemptively strike.
Yeah. I thought there was probably 5 or 6 really, really, really good matches on the card. And then there were like 10 or 11 that were like, meh, I could do without them. yes, they had their place. They were cool-down matches. However, I'm a fan of the less is more approach. There's a reason that I hated people that said this, and it's because I wasn't consistently watching. But the past 4 or 5 takeovers I've watched, and the past 4 or 5 takeovers have been better than the main roster show. There's a reason for that. There's only 5 matches. It's a constant uphill roller coaster. And I think that works out better than up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down.
If it's
Travis,
just uphill, I
I've
don't
seen
think
your
you can call
book.
that a
I've
roller
heard
coaster.
I've heard your book. Well, that, and I've heard your booking. I've seen you book a 15 match show.
Yeah, but that's because I want to put a lot of shit in my booking.
But it wouldn't be
Not
7.
because-
It wouldn't be 7 hours though. With his timing, he'll have it all done in 3.
A lot of fast.
That
matches.
sounds like whiplash. That sounds like that sounds no thanks.
That is
no one
wrestling.
gets entrances.
Joe
You
match.
just
That's
teleport
that.
into the mat.
That is wrestling under primetime Travie T. It's all
You get no
all
entrance.
all whips, no fists.
into the ropes.
Off the
Irish
ropes.
whip wrestling.
Match over. Get the hell out.
Get out. No promo. Do the promo
Everyone
to the other way.
suicide dives out.
They're
Amazing.
going out, but the next match is already going in at the same time, so they just kind of up it over.
Right.
Let's cross it. Yeah.
Kevin, what did you think?
I really liked it. One of my favorite manias that I've been able to watch live. I felt like, yes, it was long, but it's Mania. It's like the Woodstock of wrestling. That's what you sign up for when you say, I'm going to sit down and watch Mania today. I was surprised that WWE gave us so many like happy endings. I expected them to kind of do something that flies in the face of what the crowd wants, just to give a little bit of like emotional diversity in terms of results. But they gave us a lot of Sorry, my cat is standing in my typewriter. It's very distracting. They gave us a lot of happy endings, which I was very excited about. I really enjoyed it. There were a few weird kind of messy moments in a few of the matches that to me did make it feel like it was a smaller show than Mania. But that happens, and I don't feel like it took all too much away from the show. And I feel like overall the storytelling was some of the best I've seen at Mania.
Simone, what did you think?
I thought it was one of the best manias I've seen from like top. I'm not including the pre-show in this, but like the main card from top to bottom. I thought it was one of the most well balanced, and like Ruben said, like everything had a purpose, and I thought it was really fun. It was a good mania. It was fun. I'd rewatch it.
You rewatch it?
I'd probably skip some stuff. I would skip some stuff,
Like-
obviously, because I ain't got 7 hours
Right,
to
like-
burn again. But it was good.
Like, I'm not sitting through. I'm gonna skip right over the whole Hall of Fame segment. Like, I don't need that. I don't need to rewatch that part.
Before we get into the main mania, just want to touch on the Bret Hart thing.
Fuck
What
that
the
guy
fuck?
forever. Not Bret Hart. Fuck that fan forever.
What the fuck?
Yeah, right. I was like, Kevin's the one who attacked Bret Hart. Damn.
Yeah, that was me. No. Bret Hart, no matter how you feel about him as a wrestler, about his attitude or whatever, he is one of the greats. And I've seen it at indie shows. I've seen it on TV. I'll never understand why people are like, I'm going to rush the ring. Because wrestlers will not fucking stand for that. We will end you. We will absolutely ruin your day.
I think rushing
Don't
the ring
do
is the
it.
dumbest thing. I just want to run the ropes.
Don't
That's it. I
do
won't
it.
even rush the wrestlers. Let me just run the ropes.
This
This is my
Still
one
gonna have a
chance.
bad time.
This is my one
yeah,
time.
so-
Give me a time to shine.
I mean, that's the
I'm
issue that
furious.
they run. I mean, they want so many more tickets in terms of more access to the wrestlers. And that's why they do this entire WrestleMania week. But I mean, you got to look at the drawbacks of it. I mean, this is a situation that could happen, and closing it off to just the general audience isn't the answer because it just seems more secluded. But I mean, where was security? I mean, what is?
Well, yeah, and having it in the ring on the floor, I think increases the risk of that.
It increases the risk, but I mean, you gotta put the safety over the profits at this point, because I mean that's the
Agreed.
only reason you would have it at that situation where audience members could buy tickets to the show. I mean, I get it. You want revenue for the entire weekend, but do something to offset that, because that's not cool. I mean, Bret Hart could barely take a bump as it is, and you got some random fan who Bret Hart landed the wrong way. So that's it. That's all I gotta say.
Also,
go ahead.
Of all people to attack, why would you attack a Hart? Like,
Right?
Stu Hart was in a wheelchair and could break everybody in half
And
at
like
92
the Hart
years old. Like,
And
And
just
the
for
Hart-
fun. Like, he was breaking his kid's body parts just for fun.
Well, and
He's like,
like
"Come
I
here."
say this with all the love in my heart. I'm a Calgarian. I'm like Team Hart all the way. They're crazy, especially about their family. Like, do not mess with Hearts when other Hearts are in the building. Like, I don't know if y'all saw how fast Davey Boy Jr. was moving, but like, yeah, when there are Hearts in the building, don't mess with Hearts. Don't do it. It's a bad idea.
also props to Travis Brown and Dash Wilder for fucking that dude up.
Mhm.
Totally condone
And
it.
props to the New Day, because they were one of the some of the first people in there, and I think they were the first. Kofi and Xavier were some of the first people to hoist Brett out of the melee.
Oh yeah,
So-
yep.
So now, in my heart, they're officially an actual team of superheroes, because they match and they just appeared and were like saving the day, and I love them
And
forever.
I would like to say they were besides DX, who had a great speech, I would say the New Day was definitely the MVP of the audience. Because if you watch them, because they were in the front row, you could see them making faces and they were having a great time, and they were comedic gold as usual.
I love
and
them.
they
I
should
want to
be in the front
hire
row of
them for a
everything.
birthday party.
Did
Yeah.
anybody watch anything non WWE this weekend or any other shows?
You know I
I
did.
didn't have time.
I'm just doing a show here, Damone. Damn.
I watched some
Talk about
stuff.
What else do you want to talk about?
Well, all right. Well, who watched Takeover?
I did.
Well, I watched Takeover, but that's WWE.
Yeah, I
still.
know.
That is WWE.
Well, everybody said no on everything else, so I was just hopping to the next thing.
I would like to watch the Supercard of Honor, but I just haven't gotten a chance to yet.
I just want to watch the part with Enzo and Cass.
It wasn't televised.
I know, which is why I haven't watched it.
Sorry.
I forgot. No, it's okay. I forgot, and I was just snapping back. It was my fault. I apologize.
It's okay.
I still haven't watched the main event of Takeover yet, though.
Me either.
Because you two fucks fell asleep on me. So I just put on King of the
That's
Hill.
not my. I
and
didn't just
fell
because I
asleep.
fell asleep doesn't mean you couldn't watch the
It's
main event.
awkward. I wanted to have a conversation and interact,
Well,
but it's awkward. So I just put on King of the Hill.
I don't know what to tell you. Anyways, yeah. So I like Takeover for what I seen of it. It was pretty decent.
Takeover had the second best match of the weekend.
Dream.
Which was
No, the tag title match.
Oh yeah. That was a good title match.
Oh lordy, that was a belter of
Hey.
a match.
Kevin,
Hello.
you can ask Mike. Mike, was I not popping hard for the flippy shit?
He popped.
Good.
He popped.
Welcome to the flippy side, my dude.
There's a
It's
place for
real
flippy
fun
shit.
over
I
here.
said it.
There's a
Just
place
not
for
every
it.
goddamn match.
He just doesn't like
Not
it.
every match, sure,
And
but
I get
that
it.
match,
That match, it worked.
he doesn't people.
because it's for flippy guys.
Right.
What you gonna do? I mean, I guess Aleister Black isn't flippy, but
I mean, he flips.
everyone else.
He flips. He's just not flippy wrestling.
I want it to make sense why you're flipping.
yeah.
Really?
That's where I.
You don't like it when-
I just wanted to make sense.
You don't like it
Like,
when
don't
Ricochet
flip.
and
Yeah, when they flip nowhere near each other and for no reason.
I don't care. I love
And
the
then
aesthetic
what's
of
the
it.
point? I don't
Right.
want to watch that. If I wanted to
Because-
watch gymnastics, I'd watch gymnastics.
All right. Well, I'm watching wrestling, which is
Fine,
basically
gymnastics.
you're already watching. You're already watching something close enough to gymnastics. Just feed into it. Just I love the fact that
No.
they
It's
I
just
refuse.
fun.
right.
Just have fun. It's fun.
That
I refuse.
I think it's great.
I'm
I
the
think
grumpy
it's-
old man yelling
old
at the
old
sky.
man yells at cloud. Yeah.
Yeah, yelling at the cloud. Yelling at that cloud doing
Power
flips.
moves.
the cloud that does
Cloud.
flips does
Yeah.
When it's a competitive match to the point where it's not like a blood feud, like this match, it worked out very well. They were more so just competing like who's the better team. You know what I mean? And there was a lot of respect in there, even with the fist bump, and you know what I mean? That makes sense to do the flipping things because you're trying to show off, you're trying to be the best of the best of the best. When if the same story that Triple H and Batista had was applied to that match, the flips would have sucked.
I
It doesn't
disagree
match
with
the
you,
story.
but
Are
we've
you
had this
saying Triple
conversation
H-
before.
Are you saying Triple H doing flips would suck?
Yes.
What if Triple H started doing flips? That'd be lit. I don't know
No.
what you're talking about. If Batista and Triple H started doing shit like Osprey and Ricochet,
I'd stop watching wrestling.
that would be the greatest thing in the world. I would love to see Batista do some flippy shit.
That would be the bulkiest flippy shit I've ever seen in my life.
It
Just
would like
muscles take flight.
it
He
would.
could barely get in the ring. Let's
Well, yeah,
not have
he
him
tripped
flip.
into the ring.
Now?
It
Can we
would
talk
have been
about that?
sweeter if instead of tripping into the ring, he would have just fucking flipped, did a 450 right off the top rope.
I'd like to
Let's
say that
piece the match now. Let's do this. Let's review that
I
match.
feel like I could.
I think we're gonna go in. We're gonna go in
yeah,
sequence, aren't we?
We're gonna
Yeah.
go into that.
But also, I would like to say that I said I wanted to do the pre-show. Everybody groaned, but you guys are fucking talking about shit that wasn't even on the fucking half-hour show. Let's go.
Well, I'm
I didn't bring it
Everybody
up.
asked about
I've been
other
sitting
shows
very
in WrestleMania.
quietly.
Like, I'm here for WrestleMania. Let's go.
all right. So we're not gonna go match by match for the pre-show. But
Do you just want me to say my piece?
go ahead and say your piece.
Okay. First off, cruiserweight match. That's pretty good. I enjoyed it. It was a good match. Tony Nese
Agreed.
did not have as good of clothes as Buddy Murphy, so a little upset about that. Buddy Murphy should have went over because I'm a fashionista.
Whatever.
Did you see Dream talking shit to Buddy Murphy as he came back after the match? You
No,
haven't seen that video? It's been on my feed like all for the last 2 days.
I'll look it up after this podcast.
It was hilarious. He was talking so much shit.
So next up is the Women's Battle Royal. Overall, this is a really decent match. I really liked it until the finish. I think the rollout Hyde comeback is so played out. Like, it's ridiculous. It works in the men's Royal Rumble when Colin Jost, is that how you say his name? Jost?
Alan Jost.
Jost?
Yost? I thought
When
it was
he did it,
Yost.
that makes sense because he's not supposed to be fighting people. But isn't Carmella a babyface? Why is she hiding?
That's your
I
problem with
don't
that
know,
match?
man.
Yes, Sarah Logan should have won that match. Period. Carmella didn't need the win. They played it very safe, and that's annoying.
I'm
It's
all
the
right with
pre-show.
Carmella.
It's the pre-show. It's a battle royal. Just give somebody that could actually do something with a win.
Give someone the rub who could actually use it.
Right. but-
Exactly. Yeah.
But is winning the Battle Royal at Mania a rub anymore?
It could be.
It could be,
Every
but
year
it
it gets a chance to
isn't.
do it. Every year they get the chance to do it.
Right.
If
but
they
And
do or not,
every
is up
year
to
it
them.
doesn't work.
You're forgetting
'Cause
one thing. Mela is money.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Anyway,
Well, plus,
Kurt
Mullen
Hawkins,
from Staten Island, quote unquote.
Kurt Hawkins and Zack
Really-
Ryder deserved that win. What'd you say?
And then they lost it the next night.
No, they
No.
didn't.
Yeah, I thought they lost it on Raw. Oh, I don't
You're
know because
incorrect.
yeah, they
No,
lost it on Raw,
retained it.
No,
right?
they didn't.
Are you
They
sure?
retained on.
Oh,
Yeah.
They retained on
Well,
Raw.
here's the thing.
Usos lost on SmackDown.
Here's the thing: is I'm going off of what I thought I read because Hulu completely cut them off. They were not anywhere on my Hulu cut because that's how I watch Raw. So I'm they don't mention them later at all in the show. So I'm kind of just going off of what I thought. I
Okay.
read.
Well, yeah, you're wrong.
Whoa. All right.
I-
Jesus.
I'm just saying that you're wrong.
All right. Go ahead.
Braun Strowman winning was kind of stupid. Same reason it was stupid before for the women's. They went safe. They could have put someone in this match that really. There's multiple
Needs
ways
to
we could have done
push.
this. We could have done a bunch of people that made it so Braun Strowman didn't look like the only person that could win the match, or we could have somebody shockingly beat Braun Strowman. I'd have popped so hard if Colin Jost would have flipped him out.
Yeah, but that was the whole thing. Is you knew that he was Colin Jost was gonna get his comeuppance and Braun was gonna
Yeah,
get
that's
him.
why I
Like
was
that was
in a-
building for weeks, and I actually think that was good. That was done
You
well.
took 27 other men and ruined their
He
Mania
didn't ruin
moment.
anybody's Mania moment.
Saturday
They weren't
Night
gonna
Live
have it
actor.
anyways.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like It
And
wasn't.
right,
again, that is really winning the Andre the Battle
It
Royal.
can't be, Damone. Shut the fuck
It
up.
can
It
be,
could
but
be
it
part of a
never is.
storyline, but it's not prestigious. It just could be used for.
Yeah,
It's like
it's not. That's the thing.
Right.
It's not prestigious. So, can you name who won last year off the top of your head?
Mojo won the year before, or was it last?
Yeah, you're helping my argument, but
was Matt
simply
Hardy.
by the fact you
Yo,
can't remember.
don't hate on my man
It was Matt
Mojo.
Hardy.
Don't hate
Matt
on
Hardy
my
won,
man
yeah.
Mojo. Matt Hardy won?
I think so.
Oh,
Thanks for
yeah. You're
confirming
see,
my
he's
argument.
confirming. This is confirming his point.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It could. Like I said, it hasn't been. It was Matt. No, yeah, it was Matt
It
Hardy.
could mean
But
something.
That's what I'm trying to
did
say.
last
It
So,
could.
Every year they have the chance to do it.
Got
But
formed at that Battle Royal. Bray Wyatt helped Matt Hardy win,
oh
maybe-
right.
leader of worlds, and became Raw Tag Team Champions. Cesaro wins, gets Paul Heyman, and we forgot what happened. Rose
Right.
Crawley wins. Vince McMahon realizes that he's not as muscular as he is beefy, and sends him to stare at a mirror for the rest of his life. These things happen, you know.
It might just be because Mojo is terrible.
I love Mojo. He is terrible. I'm not saying he's good, but he's gonna be a great high school football coach.
He's going to be a great XFL player. That's what's going to happen.
No, they won't even let him be a player. Are you kidding me? He's definitely gonna be like a coach, an offensive line coach.
He can't even make the team in the XFL.
He's on the practice squad on an XFL team. He's the only person on all the practice squads.
All right. Mojo Rawley wasn't on the show for a reason. Let's keep it pushing.
I feel is Mojo. He's gone, right?
No, he's still there. He's just staring at
He did a
mirrors.
vignette. He did a vignette on Monday.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
just
again, they cut
yelling
him
at
off.
himself in the mirror.
It was trash. He had his face. It was a broken mirror. He's staring at it. The one eye is like way up here for some reason. He's got his face like with blue lightning bolts painted all over him.
Oh, see, they cut.
It was garbage.
They completely cut him off the Hulu cut. So
Also, the Bray Wyatt, or what I think is Bray Wyatt,
it's that buzzard
but for
thing,
some
right?
reason
It's
people
gotta
think
be the
are
buzzard.
yeah.
It's gotta
Yeah.
be Bray Wyatt. It
That
sounded
was
like
trash,
Bray
too.
Wyatt.
It did.
The laughing was definitely Bray Wyatt's laugh. And if it's
Wait, okay,
not,
so
then I'm wrong.
Wait. You went from it might be Bray Wyatt. It's probably Bray Wyatt. It's got to be Bray Wyatt. It's definitely Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, that was the.
Yeah, 'cause the more you think about it, the more you're just like, no, that background looks familiar. That smoke looks familiar.
Yeah.
The
You
little
know, that background and that smoke was also used for Stardust, so maybe it's Stardust.
Oh, that'd be lit.
But some people think it's Marty Skrull. Skrull? How do you say
It's
it?
Back
not
to
Marty
Skrull.
Skrull. It's
I don't
definitely
think it
not.
is. But here's
Skrull.
I want to tell
Skrull.
you why people think it is
Marty
because out of
Skrull.
all the lettering and everything on the box, the only thing that wasn't faded at all and was in full black was the umbrella. So they think that's why.
Or it's just that that's the box.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
if it's Marty Skrull, then great. Then fantastic. I'd love it. Get him and Rockstar Spud back together. Let's get that going. And
Rockstar Spud is with EC3 now.
yeah, well, he can leave EC3. Who EC3? I'm surprised he still has a job.
well, he was in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
And you're just helping Damone's point.
All right.
All right, so
Seth
the
Rollins
main
versus
card.
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I got it. Jesus Christ, let me do the hosting jobs here. Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar. Now this happened right after the beginning. Hogan came out, right? Who popped for
Hogan
Hogan?
came out with.
MetLife Center, I believe
You
it.
pop for Hogan, not one person. You pop for
I
Hogan.
popped for Hogan.
You pod for Hogan.
I can't say I did not. I did pop for Hogan, mostly because I was surprised to see him. I don't know why, and I mean I'm still a kid at heart. It was WrestleMania. I was feeling it. So wow. I was reading the thing here. So Paul Heyman comes out and basically says that Brock Lesnar wants to go get his match over with, and Seth Rollins comes out and has his match. So who wants to break this down first? Ruben, go ahead and let us know your thoughts about this match.
I'll first start off where I got really scared internally where Brock Lesnar threw Seth Rollins into the apron and you hear this big thud, like, and you think it's his neck. That was vicious of a beatdown on the outside. I can't argue with the way it finished in terms of the low blow followed by 3 blackouts or stomps or curves, whatever you want to call his finisher at this point.
Are they called
The
black
curb
outs?
stomp?
Huh?
Is it still the curb stomp, or they changed it, right?
He's
It's
called
the
it the
blackout.
blackout. He's called it the curb stomp. He's called it the stomp. What you know what it is. I mean, this falls in line with all the other ways that Brock Lesnar has lost his matches, especially when you look at his matches against Goldberg. He gets caught off guard, gets hit with a finisher. It makes sense that he has to do 3 of them. If you do really want to tie it into Brock Lesnar's matches with Finn Balor, AJ Styles, and Daniel Bryan, it makes sense because technically Seth Rollins can hit his finisher on the fly. It makes sense, and I'm pretty happy with the result of how it ended. I'm glad that Brock Lesnar is gone for the foreseeable future.
Until he comes back and they need to put a title on him and completely ruins it again.
I just want to dream that we actually have a champion that's going to be around.
That'd be great, but remember the last time that happened? Didn't we have Roman for a while and then it went right
Yeah, and
back
then he
to
got
Brock?
cancer.
No, that's
Well,
he had
there's
real life.
that, but
Leukemia isn't that's something that you just have to. You can't wrestle.
there was multiple times where he's had the championship that went right back. It feels like they went right back to Brock. Not even just Universal Championship. Right?
No, they've always done it for Roman. It's just this leukemia thing was something that was unforeseen.
I understand that, but it didn't have to go back to Brock. Something always happens, and then Brock has it, and then we
Blame
don't
WWE
have
for not
something.
putting
I am
Braun
blaming
Strowman.
WWE. They should have put it on anybody else. Instead,
Yeah,
they
but
put it
Seth
on
Rollins
Brock.
He's a proven commodity.
Injury that he can go any night that he goes.
That's usually how it works. They can go any night that they
can go any night.
I don't know
they
what else
can
to
go.
say. Like, I mean, aside from his knee injury against Kane on the house show, I mean, there hasn't been a hiccup in terms of Seth Rollins performing at a high level.
Yeah, but that was a pretty big hiccup.
That's why it's taken him so long to get back to this point. That's like what 3 or 4 years ago.
Finn still hasn't gotten back to that point, and he was.
Because Finn is not as good as Seth.
I
Agreed.
think that's debatable, but that's.
I don't think it is.
I think
Don't
that's
steal my
debatable.
show. Copyright infringement.
Luckily, we own the copyright. Anyways, Kevin, what did you think about the first match?
I thought it was great. They definitely surprised me with putting it on first. And also, as a worker, I was like, relatable. Absolutely. I don't want to hang around this long if I'm not main eventing. Put me on first.
Is that not considered rude?
No, not really. I mean, you shouldn't leave after you're done. You have to stick around, but then you get to gear down and watch the show.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant
You mean
you're gonna leave.
You mean they don't just
No,
sit
no, no.
back
You
there?
know
No,
Brock
if you
left.
leave, you're burning bridges. No one's gonna book you again unless you're like a name.
So
Anyway,
Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar. I thought it was really great. Yeah, I was really impressed. This was one of those times where I was like, this could go either way. They could give it to us and put it on Seth, or we could just keep rolling with Brock for reasons. So I was really pleased that they put it on Seth. Everybody knows I love Seth. I regularly have very wholesome dreams about going on dates with Seth.
Wholesome.
And so they are wholesome. They're very like G-rated.
They go and they share a milkshake.
We have like a picnic.
They have a malt.
So I'm very happy
malt.
for my
Sock
my
hop.
dream casual boyfriend, Seth Rollins. And no, I
How
really
many dates
enjoyed
have you
it.
gone on with Seth Rollins in your dreams?
Like 7 or 8. Like a
Which
few
one
of
was the
them.
best? What was your favorite date with Seth Rollins?
The one where we ended up in a treehouse.
What's your top 3?
I don't remember. Can I talk about wrestling, please? Yeah,
getting
I
there.
liked the match. I thought it was really good. I like that it started so hot. Like all of WrestleMania started hot. Which
Yeah,
was
it was.
cool.
I thought that was crazy though. Like we were talking about what the first match would be, and none of us even thought that was a possibility.
No. So it was a great little swerve to kick things off, and they definitely had my attention. So, A+.
Cool. Damone, what did you think about Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins?
I thought it was really good. I like the psychology of the match. Pretty much, Brock's a monster. He wants to get his shit done. Beat Seth really quick. Beats the shit out of him. Throws him in the ring. Ref gets pushed out of the way. Finally, a ref gets knocked down, and it doesn't take him an hour to get back up. So ref's distracted. Low blow. Curb stomp. Curb stomp. Curb stomp. I was afraid though at any moment when Seth was going for those curb stomps that one of them Brock was gonna pop up, hit an F5, 1, 2, 3 over. Brock's the champion, but pleasantly surprised that Seth won. So Seth is now, besides being the King Slayer, he's the Beast Slayer.
Which
Just slaying.
I felt like giving him the name the Beast Slayer and then making the shirts really should have told us that he was gonna win. Because they probably made a bunch of those shirts. And you can't be the Beast Slayer and sell those shirts if you didn't slay the Beast.
You can.
You can if you're like saying that you're going to for weeks and or months at a time beforehand.
Yeah, because Brock was selling the he did end up doing it, but he was selling the eat, sleep, break the street, repeat or whatever.
He did it though.
He did it though. But they've sold shirts where it's like you don't actually do what you say you were gonna do.
Yeah. Overall, I like the match. As far as I guess, I like the finish more than anything. But I also thought that Seth was gonna get his ass kicked right at the last second, and that we were all gonna start WrestleMania on a down note. But I think having Seth go over first really set the tone for WrestleMania, and we were like, really ready for everything after that. And then we get to the AJ and Randy Orton match, which
was okay.
It was okay. It was definitely, we could have had that on any other pay-per-view. We could have had it on SmackDown. It did not actually have to be on Mania. This was a whole set of time.
Ruben is quivering.
He's
so upset.
16 minutes. It's 16 minutes that we could have used.
It did its place. It did its job, and it had its place, Mike.
It did its job. It all it did was make WrestleMania 16 minutes longer. They got a spot on Mania, great, but it's probably one of the least remembered matches of the night.
Are you kidding? You don't like the psychology of the match the entire time?
It was a very long pay-per-view, and looking back.
Let me tell you something.
I mean, I get it, but I mean, you're talking about they told a story in which they knew what the other one was going to bring. I mean, you had that one spot where AJ was going to go for a phenomenal forearm. Randy Orton jumps up for the RKO because that's typically what he does, and AJ Styles just goes back on the apron, just looks at them, and hits a 450. Okay. I mean, it's moments like that. It doesn't have to be like in your face, 100 miles an hour, but
okay, but it wasn't. You could have had that same match at Money in the Bank.
I understand, but
you could have had it in Money in the Bank for 16 minutes, and it would have been fine.
But from all the work that Randy Orton and AJ Styles have done, to not put them on the card and have them get that paycheck would have just been like a slap in their face.
But you don't. I understand trying to get all the talent on there, but just to get them on there, just to put them on there.
You can't sit through 7 hours. Come on, man up.
and also putting people on a match for WrestleMania just to give them a paycheck and to be like, well, obviously you get a WrestleMania match is shitty.
They're already getting a check. They have guaranteed money.
Yeah.
Worst case, put them in the Battle Royal.
In terms of just pure wrestling, that's fine. But I mean, if you're just talking about the finances behind it, that's what it is. I mean, I'm sorry that's how they made the show. That's why it was 7.5 hours long.
Mike just made a really good point to back up my point from earlier. Take this match out, put them in the Battle Royal, beef up that Battle Royal, throw Kevin Owens in there, throw a Sami Zayn in there, a Bray Wyatt,
so that no one in a year can remember who won again.
Yeah, but see, you try to add some oomph to it and try to make it just because it doesn't mean anything now. Every year you could try to make it mean something.
I get that, but I think the prestige of it is completely lost. Honestly, they could dump the whole battle royal, and I wouldn't care.
All right, so
The other person I thought was going to be at risk to win the battle royal, but Braun Strowman, was Apollo Crews. That's how they built him up the Monday before, and I was just like, no, that doesn't make sense. I was just like, no.
all right, so back to this match though. Anybody else? I don't know if you want to go one by one, but I mean, really, does
No.
anybody have anything really to say about this?
I don't remember it.
It's not. It wasn't a bad match. It's just we need it. I really don't think we needed it. That's all.
Match worked for me.
The next match was the Usos versus Aleister Black, Ricochet, Rusev, Shinsuke with Lana, and then the Bar. It was Fatal 4-Way for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Overall, the Usos did retain the title. I think it was a good match. It worked on the card. It was, good to see Aleister Black and Ricochet. They're having one hell of a fucking last few months. Like, they're not winning, but they're still coming out looking really good.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't want them to stay a tag team. I think honestly, and I know I talked to Travis and you about this, I would like to see them both go to 205 Live with Chad Gable, because I want to see that roster. Because at this point, I feel like when you look at 205, it's a lot of the same matchups over and over and over again. And I get that they're having good matches, but it's going to start getting repetitive, because how many times can you watch Buddy Murphy versus Cedric Alexander?
I feel like I've seen it enough, and I haven't watched it that many times.
Yeah, so I think they need to add some more talent to 205, and if they can add some legit talent, kind of like with the Battle Royal I get what Travis is saying with it, but essentially like that, beef up that roster. I'd like to see Gable go to 205. I'd like to see Aleister and Ricochet. I'd also like to see Finn go to 205. I think that would really help that division. I just don't want to see Aleister Black and Ricochet be pushed as a team, because they don't really they work well together, but I don't see them as a team.
Yeah, no, I don't. I know what you're saying. I don't really see them as a team. I like to see them together, just because I think it's cool to have them up there working together, like coming straight from NXT. But they're not. They don't really seem like a team. Maybe because they don't have matching trunks, but neither did.
And they don't enter together.
That's one thing I wanted to mention about the Kurt Hawkins match, is the fact that Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins have matching gear, but for whatever reason they don't wear it at the same time.
It's just a communication issue.
Yeah, someone didn't tell Zack Ryder that he needed to wear the same gear as his partner, not as the Revival.
It's the Revival, and then the following night on Raw, he wore green.
He wore the green, and I'm just like,
he had that means he had the gear the whole time. He went out there, was like, "Fuck, I put the wrong trunks on."
Yeah, then Kurt Hawkins comes out in orange. I'm just like, seriously, guys, you guys are.
You can't get this together. You can't coordinate this.
It was terrible. They had it there the whole time.
I think the only way they make it good is if Zack Ryder comes out next in orange, and then Kurt Hawkins comes out in a different color, and then Zack Ryder just keeps following.
I was trying to catch up.
It up.
Does anybody else have anything to say about this tag match?
It was good.
In terms of the entrances, the fact that Ricochet, Aleister Black got the full entrances, as well as the Usos, while Shinsuke and Rusev had that side entrance, because they did have two different ways they entered in. I think that kind of telegraphed a little bit of what was going on. I did love this.
I was going to say, I think it probably had to do with the fact that we just had a 16-minute AJ Styles-Randy Orton match, so they had to cut something off of the other entrances.
I still love the Cesaro spot with Sheamus. That was pretty fun.
Oh, the helicopter that went on for a million years?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I got dizzy watching that.
I was like, there's no way, you guys. You're going to die. Everyone's going to die somehow.
You say that, and then in the same room across is Damone, one of Damone's children, spinning on one of those little spinny wheel things.
Yeah.
No, she did it for, I swear, 10 minutes. Just
No, I know, and kids are
over
weird.
and
They don't
over.
have an inner ear. They just spin and they
I
are
can't.
fun.
Oh, I was done.
Yeah,
Like,
she
I
was
got
going
dizzy.
for like 10 minutes straight. She gets in like a trance. Like I literally look at her and she's like just
Trance.
looking down, like her eyes like closed in like a trance, just spinning and spinning and spinning.
But yeah, we figure that
She's got a future ahead of her.
yeah.
Yes.
She's the next Cesaro.
Someone has to be.
All right, does anybody else any last thoughts on this match?
No. That was good.
Love me some Ricochet.
Yeah, he's always good.
And the Usos. I love the Usos too.
Ooh, so not
I think
paranoia.
they're going. I think that they're going to Raw. By the way, I think that's why they dropped the titles.
I can see that.
I mean, they should. I mean, they faced every team on SmackDown. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, everything's gonna be shaken up. It's the shake up. Anyway, so the next match, probably my number. I don't know if number 2 or number 3 favorite match of the night. Shane McMahon versus The Miz. Let me tell you, I had high hopes for this match to begin with, but it exceeded my expectations, especially story wise. Now this match, I will agree, probably could have been put on another pay-per-view and been fine. But I think that it really.
No,
I think
it had to be on this pay-per-view.
I mean, they
I would say
could have done it on SummerSlam.
Well, you could say that about every match then. I guess technically, you could put any match on any pay-per-view.
There was no stakes. Other than
there was. It was the honor of Mrs. Dad.
Right, but I still say they could have done that. They could have done that at a Money in the Bank or even a SummerSlam.
I feel like you're just trying to cut WrestleMania down to like an hour.
I mean,
like
not an hour.
To do like 2 matches.
I could be fine. Look, here's the things. I'd be fine with 6 hours, with everything, with 7.5 fucking hours.
I don't even think it was half. I think it was 7 straight.
I think it was 7.5. No, it started at 7, and we didn't get done till like 12:30.
It was not 12:30.
It was definitely closer to 12:30.
It was 12:30.
It was definitely 12:30.
I remember because I had to drive straight home afterward. It was 12:30.
It was just long. I'm just saying, you don't have to have all these matches on here. Either way, this was still one of my favorite matches of the night. It was great. I mean, I don't know how well it played at the actual arena, but watching it, especially that finish, the fact that The Miz is the one that, he's the one who finished the match, but Shane won. And now Shane is coming out talking so much shit on SmackDown. Great.
Right.
Black eye.
Because it makes sense because he's like cocky, he won, Miz lost, so we're gonna get a rematch.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna die next time, probably The Miz.
Or his dad.
Anybody enjoy
Coast to Ghost.
Coast to Ghost.
Coast to Ghost. Mrs. Dad got Ghost. Coast to Ghost.
I feel badly. Anytime someone who isn't a wrestler shows up and does a thing and is kind of mocked internet wide for like clearly not being a wrestler, that always bumps me out. Or like mocked for the way they look. It makes me really uncomfortable the way people treat and or talk about Mrs. Dad. Like, leave the guy alone. He's just doing a thing with his son.
Yeah, but
like, go away.
I'm 100% sure he's very self-aware.
I mean, maybe.
And knows what's going on. And if worst case scenario,
I don't like it.
I'll go up to Cleveland. I'll go to his Mr. Hero. I'll buy something as Mr. Hero, and I'll make my peace that way.
That would be great. I kind of doubt the rest of the internet is like that, but it just makes me uncomfortable. Do what you want, but it makes me uncomfortable. I also, y'all know how I feel about Shane McMahon being given WrestleMania matches when he's not and never has been technically in kayfabe a wrestler. It frustrates me. It bums me out.
Right, but he has the training. He does have the training though. Even though in kayfabe he does it, but he has the training.
Yeah, he does, but not in kayfabe. That's the thing.
Okay, but here's the thing. We shit on Shane McMahon for getting these matches, but consistently Shane McMahon has great fucking matches.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would say like 2 years ago he had the best match of the Like him versus
with AJ Styles.
Yes, that was match of the night.
Let's look at who he's working with. If we were to put him with someone green,
really, because of Shane, like
it's not because of Shane, but he's part of the match.
He's part of
these
matches.
He's not fucking it up.
Yeah, if it's consistent, you can't just keep saying that it's the people he's working with. The people he's working with is great, but he is also good. He is also trained.
No, okay. First of all, he's not like trained. He's not trained as a worker. He's trained to do some moves. There's a difference. You can make that face at me, but I do know what I'm talking about.
I disagree because I've listened to stuff about it, and he has been trained. I mean, he's been in the business for how long now, and he's had training.
By the way, he's the best in the world, if you didn't know that.
Lots of people have been in the business for years. It's not the same thing. I guarantee you. There's a difference. And you know what? Maybe I am wrong, but I've never seen Shane do something that to me says that guy can wrestle. And like, y'all know me. I like my flippy shit. I love my spots. I'm a bit of a spot monkey. But like, that's what Shane does. Notice his offense isn't really anything other than strikes and big bumps. That's what he does. That's not all wrestling. That's a big part of it, and it makes for some interesting matches, but that's not well-rounded wrestling. And so like a guy like Will Ospreay that people are like, oh, he's just all flips, whatever. But the guy can chain. The guy can wrestle. The guy can strike. The guy can do all of the things that are part of a well-rounded match. I'm not convinced, and I could be wrong, but I'm not convinced Shane can do all those things, and I'm frustrated that we're giving him these big matches, and yes, it was entertaining. Yay, big bump off a tall thing, but that is not something that only Shane can do. Literally anyone can fall off of scaffolding onto an airbag. That's my thing. Anyone could do that. It's actually not hard. Wow. It's not comfortable. I wouldn't want to do it. But it's just not something that takes a specific skill set. And so I'm just kind of over Shane being sold to me as like, oh my God, this crazy guy. But to me, I don't think it has a whole lot to do with him, except for the fact that, holy crap, he keeps doing these remarkable, crazy things, which like, kudos to you. He's not a young man, and that's a lot to take on.
Hey, so Kevin, wait. You're being very smarky right now. You're looking at this from a different viewpoint.
I'm a
Suspend
wrestler.
this. It doesn't matter. That's not the point. Nobody else here is. You should be looking at this as a fan, not as a worker.
I was gonna ask.
No, but what
I was gonna say Shane has some bangers. I'm looking at Shane's WrestleMania matches, and he has some bangers. So it's working. Whatever he's doing, he's taking the spot and he's running with it. So I say keep giving him the spot. It's not like he's getting the WrestleMania match and then doing a shit match every time.
No, absolutely.
He's having a good match. So what's the harm in him having a good match with someone? Because isn't that kind of the point to entertain us?
To me, I don't see it as a good match. I see it as like a big thing and then a big thing and then a big thing and then we're done. And
Are you entertained?
Because it's the same every time.
I was entertained because I saw Shane go to heaven.
The fact that Shane, he does spots, he brawls. That's just how he does it. That's what he does.
Doesn't brawl. He doesn't brawl.
He punches.
He strikes. Yeah.
He strikes. Okay, he strikes. That's just what he does. That's his style. Out of all that's probably the most negative I've ever heard you.
No, because I think it's frustrating to me because even in kayfabe, he's not a wrestler. So like kayfabe centric.
But there were also garbage men back in the day that technically weren't wrestlers.
But they were wrestlers.
They were garbage men.
Because they were wrestlers. Shane is not.
Shane is still a trained wrestler.
Okay, I have a question then. Do you not like when Vince used to have? I know you weren't really watching, but when Vince
I don't like
would
that
have
either.
matches,
I don't like when Steph has matches. I don't like when Vince has matches. I don't like it when Vicky has matches. I don't like it.
What about when like celebrities?
How did you feel about Colin Jost?
I don't like that either.
Yeah. What about Colin Jost?
I don't like that either. I'm not a wrestler. if you're not a wrestler, like y'all know, I'm iffy on Ronda Rousey for the same reason. Obviously, she's been training. Obviously, she's been working to be a wrestler, so that's different. But I don't like it when we have a like Hugh Jackman step into the ring and knock somebody out. That doesn't make
Dolph
sense.
Ziggler, he has a name.
I couldn't remember who it was, to be honest. But like, I don't like that. And like, if other people like it, that's cool. I don't like it. That's all I'm saying. I don't like it.
Well, I'm putting the label on Shane McMahon. He's officially a wrestler. He had some bangers
is
at
a wrestler.
WrestleMania. He's a wrestler.
He is a
I would
wrestler.
like to say on record that Ruben is shaking his head, and I'm taking it that he agrees with me.
He was also trained by Tom Pritchard, which is Bruce Pritchard's brother. And I remember
okay.
there's episodes where
that.
he says that he was training just like anyone else.
Okay, I accept that then. Then that's great.
Okay.
I wish his character was a wrestler, but it is what it is.
But if his character was a wrestler, it wouldn't work.
Right, his character is Shane McMahon, which
But
is
isn't his like character kind of now a wrestler because he did wrestle in a tournament to decide the best wrestler
best in the
in the world.
Also,
Next match.
hold on. I didn't really get to say anything about this match. He had the second best match on the card, so
yeah.
wrestler or not, he still was the second most entertaining.
Do you have anything specific you want to say about it before we move on? Or no?
Me?
Yeah. I didn't know
No,
if you had any
that's
spots.
fine.
Or anything.
That's
Okay.
enough.
So the next match was the Iconics versus Boston Hug Connection, which I still hate saying. Nia Jax and Tamina, and Beth Phoenix and Natalia. I don't remember it.
You don't.
I don't either.
remember
That's
it.
why I said yawn.
I know the Iconics won. And
I remember getting yelled at for my opinions on the Iconics.
I
Because your opinions do not matter to their ability on the match.
But I didn't say they should win or lose.
I'm gonna wait for Kevin to come back.
Oh, okay.
So
I already told him myself, so you can...
I can have a tag team partner in this argument.
I'm sure we'll come. Well, how about we just come back to this one? Because we're having technical difficulties here, so we're just gonna move on with us three, and then we'll come back to it when everybody comes back.
I apologize if you can hear my dog.
I can't go to the next match because the next match is probably one of the biggest matches of the night.
It's the biggest match.
Kevin's
here. Let's go.
Oh, is Kevin back?
I'm back.
Cool.
Kevin, he's gonna yell at me for saying that the Iconics are ugly. Let's go, both of you. Bring it on.
All right, so Iconics
Women
match.
should not be judged or booked based on their sex appeal alone. That was my argument Sunday. That's my argument today. The Iconics deserve that win.
No, I agree. They were the ones that should have won. They won. They were great. They were the ones that should have won that match.
I don't remember him saying
never
that
said
they should win just based on the way they look.
I never said anything.
He never
about
said that.
They're ugly.
I said that's
He
not
just thought they're ugly.
what was said. You guys sat there for a good 3 to 5 minutes trying to decide if Peyton Royce and or Billie Kay were hot enough.
No,
I
that's
don't
not
think
you.
that we.
Misunderstood.
No, you
No.
misunderstood.
You don't
That's
know what you're
not the
talking about.
conversation
That's
that
not what
happened.
Go ahead.
The conversation that happened was that I said they were ugly and they disagree with me.
That was
the
it.
conversation.
That was
Yeah,
the whole
it's been
conversation. It had
like
nothing to
a
do with their
three-week
spot.
thing. It's not about whether they're good enough in the ring or anything. It's literally he said Peyton Royce was ugly, and that's
That was
literally
his
all. It has
personal
nothing to
opinion.
do with their in-ring talent. Or
I think that
anything.
was
That
literally
should
the
not be a
conversation.
commentary on the match. That should not be your only thought when watching the match.
That wasn't his only thought when watching the match.
Oh.
We had plenty of thoughts.
That was before they came out. First off, also that was something that preempted the whole Mania. It was a conversation that me, Damone, and Mike had before, based off of
I'm
Monday
so glad
Night
I wasn't
Matchups.
there
We
for
were
that.
joking. What?
It was.
I didn't
Anyway,
hear. I don't know what you said, so I can't
He
reply.
said he was glad he wasn't there for that.
Because I would have had this argument earlier before.
But
Like
that argument
No.
wouldn't have been the same argument. That the argument had nothing to do with it. Like, that's it. Anyways,
Iconics should have won the match. It was fine. They were the only ones who were tag teams before the thought of a women's tag team was even a possibility.
I agree.
And I am happy that they won.
Yeah.
They highlighted Beth Phoenix well. She still could go in the ring whenever she decides she wants to do it. I feel sad for Sasha and Bayley just because I'm huge fans and I feel like they deserve better. But in the terms of this entire match, yeah, the Iconics winning, I don't have a problem with.
I've also just never really seen Bailey and Sasha as an actual team. Like, maybe I'm wrong. I just don't look at them and go like, yeah, they work great together. They have great matches like against each other and like, but I don't look at them and go like, heck yeah, that's a tag team. So I don't know. It to me it always felt like one of those tag teams where it's like, I don't know, you guys, I guess. Rather than
Yeah,
like
but
this
some of
makes
the best
sense.
teams were created that way.
Sure,
I mean,
totally. That's how I felt about them as a tag team, and so I'm agreeing with you. In that I think it should have been the Iconics all along, and yeah.
I thought they were gonna build up Tamina and Naya
I'm glad
for
they didn't.
some. Glad, yeah, but they've been building up Naya a lot, so I assumed that they were gonna end up
that's-
winning the titles
They
because they've
always
been
build her. They
building up
build her.
Naya.
They build
She's-
Naya, and then they stop building Naya, and then
True.
she goes back down to losing, and then becomes a powerhouse again.
well, she's a
Right.
female Braun Strowman. I mean, this is what it is.
That's
But
the problem with monster booking.
I
know where to go.
I was ready to come on here when I saw Nia Jax attempt that splash to revisit the argument I made last time I was on here for 20 minutes talking about Nia Jax as a work.
Ruben wants all the smoke.
I was just like, oh, here it comes. It's just like my entire Mark Henry doing a 450 splash and how dangerous that even looks was about to happen, and then she just got pushed off, and I was like, oh, someone heard my argument. It was just like, no, we're not giving this to you, man. Not today.
I would
I'd
love
be
to.
shocked if Naya wanted to do a 450 splash. I certainly wouldn't.
I wish I could do a 450 splash.
I
would-
wish I could do one. I still wouldn't necessarily want to do it.
If I could do it, I would, but I don't think I have the balance for that.
Pretty
I'm
sure.
also afraid of heights, so that wouldn't work out.
Anybody else have anything specific to say about this tag match?
I actually
No.
really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I saw
congrats to the
this-
Iconics.
I just don't remember. I'm sure I enjoyed it. I just don't remember it.
Now the tag team titles are iconic.
Yeah.
I did the
okay,
belly.
what you
I
did-
did the belly thing.
What you
Very
didn't
poorly.
see is that Damone did his very best Iconics pose, and it was beautiful.
Thank you.
So the next match was probably match of the night for me, and that's Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan. It is the. I mean, yeah, probably, but that's because I don't like to be.
I'll do it.
You know,
It was the best.
It was the best match of the night.
Book it.
So Kofi Kingston, Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan definitely made sure Kofi was highlighted.
Oh,
This
yeah.
was Kofi's match. Daniel Bryan was there. Daniel Bryan did his job, but he fully gave the match to Kofi. That was 100% his match. They both stood out, but Kofi stood out. He proved himself to be the WWE champion. Period. He's the champion. The highest. I mean, I don't care about the Universal Championship. No offense, Seth, but when it comes down to it, the WWE champion is gonna be higher than the Universal champion, and that's what Kofi is.
I wanted this so bad for Kofi, so bad, and I want to preface this by saying I am Team Kofi all the way. He
Oh, no.
absolutely deserves this. He is
Oh,
a
no.
great wrestler. There were a couple spots in the match that looked, and I could be wrong. I'd have to watch them back. Don't you shake your head at me, Ruben. I see you. There were a couple spots in the match that looked a little on the side of botchy to me, and I was sitting there going, oh no, Kofi, come on, don't fuck this up. I need you to do this, and I need you to do it strong. And I was just like, come on, man, I need you to prove that you've got this. But I mean, obviously that wouldn't have changed the booking. But I was nervous for a second there. I have all the faith in the world in him. I was just like, I've seen you work so much crisper. But it was like maybe one or two in the whole match, and they got me with every near fall. And
those near falls
Oh
were
yeah, when
crazy.
Daniel Bryan hit that running
Oh,
knee.
yep, I was
I'm
like, it's over.
"Fuck
That's
off."
it.
yeah, it was a lot. I think I was the most invested in that match. They did such a great
Definitely.
job building it up, and I'm so like I cried when Kofi won. I cried when I saw Xavier's face because Xavier Woods was crying, and I was crying by myself with my cats
He
over
was
wrestling.
crying. He was crying. They did an interview with the New Day, and they were talking about Kofi winning. And Xavier
Oh, he
got
started
like
crying.
halfway through what he was talking about, and he just started crying. And then Big E's like, "I want to see you cry. I want to see them tears."
Yeah, I think we actually listened to that interview on our way back, driving back.
Yeah.
Ruben, do you have anything to say about this match?
I have so much to say about this
Go
match.
ahead, say it.
I got to see a video of Shad Gaspard and MVP at a bar crying when Kofi won. I was there. You guys saw me. I was hyped. I was every near fall. I was like, holy crap! I was so invested in this match. I mean, even the spot where Kofi started stomping on Daniel Bryan's head. At some point, I was like, yes, Kofi. And I was like, wait a minute, no, Daniel Bryan, the concussions.
Oh yeah. There was the concussion talk, but yeah. So you definitely brought up the concussions. Yeah,
it was one of those things where you hated Daniel Bryan, but then you also realize, like, ooh, don't stop.
But he's also a real person.
Wait, safely. It was one of those emotional moments, and I don't want to make this. I blame JBL for this pre.
That JBL comment was ridiculous, and it was like nobody, and then JBL, he took it.
This isn't about African American history. It's about history.
Yeah.
It's like,
stop it. Just let it be about African American history. If that's what it's about, let it be about that. Like, chill.
I mean,
JBL.
it could be history, but it could also be African American history. It's
the only defense I will say for
history.
JBL is that he was quoting Teddy Long, but he shouldn't be the one to say it.
But it wasn't.
It can't be JBL. Can't be the one.
But it was like they were literally talking about one thing, like something else, and then all of a sudden he pops in with it. Like what?
No, it was like JBL saying some of my best friends are black in that moment. It was like, well, okay.
They spent so much time talking about 11 years and Kofi Kingston. You didn't want to make it bigger than it was. But I mean, for me, just growing up a wrestling fan, growing up as a guy who wanted to, as growing up, wanted to be a wrestler, and I almost have that opportunity to do so as soon as I switch jobs. I mean, when you see stuff like I'm not going to hark back. I'm not going to go way back in time, but stuff like the 23 seconds with Triple H and Booker T, which I'm never going to let you guys live down ever. When you see the Mark Henrys, you see all these situations, and you finally see this Kofi. I was crying at the end of it because I mean, this was pretty much a culmination of all those years just smacked into this one moment.
And all those guys. All those guys that didn't get the shot they should have gotten.
Again, I don't want to make it too like political in that sense because again, I'm not a wrestler, so I'm not in that world. It's easy to say from the outside in, and then Sami Zayn's just gonna haluva kick me out of nowhere. But it's just one of those situations, just like this is culmination of all those years, just smacked into that 1, 2, 3 that Kofi did, and it was just like I was emotionally drained for the rest of the show after that moment. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think especially at that end when we all popped, we were screaming, didn't realize how loud we were, and then I got tired. I think that's when I got tired. When all the everything came out, and I was spent.
I was emotionally spent. This is like I even said it was like if Kofi lost for some reason, I would just gone home, just so pissed off, and just would have sold all my shares to WWE. I was like, screw this. Like, I'm done. It was just, but
it was the second longest match on the card.
Do
you want to know what the longest match on the card was?
It was Triple H. I know.
Yeah.
Triple H. Batista.
I didn't realize. And after that match though, the Kofi Kingston Daniel Bryan match, it was like we were just counting down to when this thing was over.
It kind of was.
It was like that. That could have been the main event of a up to there would have been almost perfect pay-per-view if you cover up the last half of this card. This could have been split into 2 different pay-per-views. It would have been great, but don't give them ideas because I don't want 2 days of WrestleMania.
I still need the triple threat for me to be happy with that.
Well, there's
card.
that. I mean, add that triple threat to it, but you know what I mean though,
I don't think the triple threat had the emotional weight that this Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston match had.
Emotional weight, no, but I was
significance. I'm not gonna downplay that. No. I just feel like emotionally, it's just like there's so much into this Kofi match. Because there's so much in 11 years and the Randy Orton situation that happened, and you just watch him and all these multi-man matches he's been in, and you could literally watch him go from this Jamaican accented upstart boom 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 guy to now WWE champion. It's just That's a slow burn story if I've ever seen one.
It really is. Yeah, it is 10 years. I will say that I think emotionally there was less invested in it, but I do think story-wise, and I'm going to say that story and emotion are different here. Story-wise, I think the women's triple threat had more of a build, and so I was invested in it in a different way. I wasn't as emotionally invested in it, but I was like, I got to see how this ends.
Oh yeah,
So,
I didn't they build that up since Becky Lynch got injured, so I think that's why.
yeah.
Kofi just got thrown in.
Yeah, it was a last-minute thing.
Elimination Chamber is when it started because Mustafa Ali got hurt, or sorry, Ali got hurt.
Yeah,
Prince
that was.
Ali.
It's a blessing in disguise. I don't think Ali would have done as. I don't think
Ali was gonna be a throwaway. He was not gonna be. He would have been a throwaway.
If Ali did get the shot at Mania, which I don't think he was ready for,
absolutely not.
Daniel Bryan would have retained. I don't think if it was anyone else, I think Daniel Bryan retains, especially since they gave him a whole new title. I think Daniel Bryan retains, and keeps in his reign of terror with the.
I think it would have been Kevin Owens. I do think it would have been Kevin Owens would have made it there somehow.
I could see that, but I think Kevin Owens would have lost to DB. I think DB would have retained.
I agree. I think that the only reason Kofi won is because of the hype that it built. Not, you know what I mean? Not the only reason he won, because obviously he deserved to win, but I meant the way that they changed it, because, I mean, that was such a natural build, and it's very rare that the fans actually seem to get their way.
What we want.
Right.
Which is, at this point in the card, I started to worry for Becky, because I was like, okay, they've given us Seth. They've given us Kofi. There's no way they're going to give us all three. There's no way they're going to give us three of what we want so badly. Yeah. Which is what why I was so surprised. I was like, oh, damn, WWE's giving us what we want this year. That's exciting.
We're in charge now. One side note, though, on the Kofi thing. So Superstar Billy Graham. Superstar Billy Graham. He came out and is like, hey, well, first off, he was trashing the match before it happened. He was calling them midgets and like saying they were too small to be champions, and he doesn't understand any of this. But so Kofi wins. He's like, oh, congrats, Kofi, but you need to go take some steroids.
Yeah, it's
literally told Kofi, go do steroids, and Vince would probably like it. Go do steroids and then go study my promos. And you'll be one day you'll be as good as me.
Maybe you'll be over, because you know you're clearly not. He won. Okay, he won a major title on Mania by like sheer overness alone. But sure, tell a guy how to be over.
I just want to know one thing.
Steroids.
Who the fuck is Billy Graham?
The superstar.
Hasn't
he been banned from WWE? Didn't they?
Probably. He says stupid
some really
stuff all the time.
Shit.
I figured it out. I figured out that Hulk Hogan isn't racist. He's just still stealing Billy Graham's gimmick.
Yeah.
He's still in situations like that you just got to take the Kofi situation and have to like contextualize it amongst everything. I mean, but the big guys plotting and doing power moves. I mean, that worked back in the day, but I mean, I don't want to say this. I don't want to spoil it, but I mean, you look at the Roman and Drew McIntyre match. I mean, I personally feel like emotion was just like gone. I mean, there was no emotion left to give to Roman Reigns, even though he deserved it. But I mean, that's a big bruising match, and it was just kind of like slower pace. So
it was. Yeah, I'm sure I fell asleep during that match. No
offense.
Does anybody else have anything to say about Kofi and Daniel Bryan? Travis?
No.
Nope.
New Day rocks.
All right, yeah, we definitely had that chant going.
Congratulations to Kofi. He has earned this 10 times over.
Absolutely.
Mr. 24/7, Mr. Gacho.
I don't know if...
Gacho ass.
You know what? Hidden shout out to R-Truth too. Just.
Oh yeah, R-Truth, especially on this week on SmackDown. They said, what pissed me off is they said that Samoa Joe beat R-Truth for the title. He didn't beat R-Truth. R-Truth lost, but he didn't beat R-Truth. I don't remember him actually beating R-Truth.
No, he beat Ray, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He has not beat R-Truth yet, and that pissed me off when they said that he beat R-Truth for the title.
Oh no, that's not why I was shouting him out. But yeah, that too.
But yeah, there was that. But
Mike is an R-Truth supporter.
I
Ardent.
am.
He's been fighting for R-Truth's rematch. His one-on-one rematch.
Yeah,
ever since he lost.
Truth.
I said shout out to R-Truth because I mean what Kofi did in WrestleMania is what, again, not many people. I don't know if anyone here has seen it, but what R-Truth did in NWA when he won the NWA World Heavyweight Title. I just feel like R-Truth was more on the nose with the entire racial part of it. I mean, I still remember the promo. He said second class titles for second class citizens, and
Oof.
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat just gave him that heavyweight title shot. I was just like, what? So big shout out to R-Truth for laying that groundwork for this moment to happen.
I still think R-Truth needs to get a shot at the World Championship, but for WWE. But anyways, next match. If you want to call this a match, I don't really know if I want to call it a match.
It's squash.
Samoa Joe, Rey Mysterio. I'm pretty sure they said Rey going into it was injured, right? So that was part of the reason he came in and lost literally right away.
They had to put something after Kofi, and it couldn't be anything of substance.
I like the way this match played out, only because I saw what happened on SmackDown. The minute R-Truth tried to go for his finisher and miss, he automatically got choked out. I feel like that's Samoa Joe. Like, it's sort of like Samoa Joe's version of the RKO. It's like you make a mistake, you're getting choked out. Rey Mysterio made a mistake, got choked out. R-Truth made a mistake, got choked out. Braun Strowman made a mistake, almost got choked out, except for the size difference. So I get it. It was a short match. It was barely under a minute, but I feel like it helps Samoa Joe and his finisher and his entire persona as this like, yo, make a mistake around me, you're going to sleep. Like,
it was literally a minute.
Yeah.
On the dot.
Like, I felt like it's unfortunate because we have the advantage of seeing SmackDown. Because if I saw this without the SmackDown context, I'd be like, I have no idea what this happened.
Which is, how we seen it. So originally, obviously.
Yeah, like I have to put it in context with what happened on SmackDown because now it sort of builds to something. It's like you make a mistake, you're going to sleep. Point blank in the story.
I don't think there's much more to say about that match, so I'm just gonna move on to.
I just want to say I like big guys beating the shit out of small guys.
Yeah.
Agreed.
We need more.
Should really watch
so what
more
we
of my
need
matches.
is what you
big
say
on
is
small violence.
we need Braun Strowman throwing Rey Mysterio around.
Yeah, I'm perfectly okay with that. He can use him as a bat.
Use him as a dart, like Nash did.
Yeah, right.
Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I was falling asleep at this point for sure.
It was a decent match. It wasn't anything special. The only special part about it was Roman's first match at Mania since not dying.
Since not dying.
Kicking the shit out of
recovering from leukemia. Yes,
right. But
I was trying to figure out how to say that.
Shit out of
I love this match because, and maybe it's like a weird placebo effect in my brain's like he had cancer, be nice to him, and Roman's actually been growing on me like for a while before he went away, but I felt like there was just a lot more him in his match. It like, I don't know if he wasn't as in his head or he was just like working harder because he appreciates it more because he's not dying of cancer. But I just felt like the crispness and explosiveness that he's always had was very highlighted by some really good character work and just like with his facial expressions, with his body language. I just felt like there was a lot more drama to Roman than I've ever seen before, and I really appreciated that. So I liked it. I actually really liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I wish Drew had won though.
Yeah, I think
Drew could have needed the win more. But I get why Roman won the most.
I mean, Roman's on a streak. He just beat cancer. Like, you gonna say that Drew is stronger than cancer?
I think the character work just comes from him. Like, again, like, you go from having to perform every night and just taking it, I don't want to say take it for granted, but like.
But it's every day. It's just your life.
Yeah. But after this whole scare, he's just like, oh man, I'm so glad I'm able to do this again. Like, you can feel that. That's why I think before the card, I said he should just go change his name from Roman Reigns back to just his regular old name, Joe Anai. Like,
No, but then he would be the Samoan Joe. And then
Samoan
we'd
Joe,
have
yeah.
Joe.
We have Samoa Joe versus Samoan Joe.
The Joe named Samoan.
Joseph.
Samoan Joseph. The Joseph from Samoa.
Travis, you have anything about this match?
I think I might have slept through this match.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, it was a
You guys are
daze.
weak.
Yeah, you're
Weak
right.
old men.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I
Well,
don't remember
so
much after the Samoa Joe match. I do remember the Triple H match,
Yeah, I mean, the Triple H match, Triple H
and I remember the
Batista
Kurt
match.
Angle match.
Okay,
That's
let's
about
just
it.
go right
Yeah,
to the
say Triple H
right
Batista.
Triple H match right next, right?
Yeah, let's just do that. There was no flips other than Batista's trip.
Entrance.
Other than that, it was. I mean, it was a good match.
No kicks off all trips.
I could have seen it on Fastlane or not, or
You
Money in the
shut
Bank.
your mouth.
I'm just saying.
You shut your mouth.
This is my
Triple-
new gimmick. I could have seen it on anything. Like
You
we're
can
talking
say
about
that for
Mania.
literally any
It's a-
I
match.
could have
It's
seen
a
it
20
on a ballet recital.
It was a 25-minute match. That
Triple H deserved that for a match that could potentially have been his last one. Me and
it
Travis
could potentially
were
been his last one, really.
Yeah,
it was
me and
not going to be his
Travis-
last one.
It could have been. Me
There
and
was
Travis
no
were on
reason.
Cry Alert.
There was
We were
no.
ready. I had a box of tissues ready. I
not
was
not
ready
when
to
not
cry.
look Saudi Arabia every year. No, that wasn't gonna happen.
No, that's the thing. Here's the thing: is Batista had no reason to win, especially because I mean he's going back to do movies. He's not a wrestler anymore. He did this one off. Him going over would make absolutely no sense. That's why you have Triple H go over. I don't even know if we're gonna see Triple H for a minute now, anyways. But
So Saudi Arabia.
Again, shut your whore mouth.
Arabia. No, I'm just saying, Damone.
I
All
love it when Devon gets so sassy. It's so
Has
good.
anyone been able to decipher what's on Batista's belly button now?
no,
I
it's
assumed
not
it was a
that.
butthole.
It's not the sun, so I don't care. I thought
I
that
mean-
sun was terrible.
The match was what it was. I mean, I feel like it was great. I mean, it's two almost near or above 50-year-old men, just
Very muscular, near or above 50
Yeah,
year old man.
very
though.
muscular.
I hope
Wailing
I
on
look-
each other.
Way
I
more
hope I look
muscular
like
than
Triple
me.
H when I'm 50.
Yeah, you got to start now. He's been
Yeah,
doing
I'll-
it for a
maybe
while.
I'll
like
get-
10 years
I'll-
ago.
By
like
the
that.
time I get to 50, I'll look like that if I start now.
If you start now, I think you'll just pull it off.
Yeah.
But you got to work like hard.
I got 20 years. I got a while.
All right.
Anyway.
Yeah. Does anyone else have anything specific about this match they want to go over?
Oh, the
I like
nose
it.
ring spot.
Oh yeah,
was
the nose ring spot. That was good. I mean, it was obvious they didn't actually tear it off, but it was a good spot.
Lance Storm did that to me in training. He also did it with my ears.
Yeah.
So basically, what I'm saying is Trips has been watching my shit.
Yeah. They just took it all from you.
Clearly been watching my shit.
It's possible. He's always grinding, always looking for
Always
talent.
looking for talent.
I just. I
I
don't think any of that was even recorded. So.
Baron Corbin and Kurt Angle was the next match. Yeah, you didn't need this match. I'm sorry.
It's Kurt's last match.
I get
You
it's
gotta-
Kurt's
he's gotta
last
have
match,
a Mania match.
but
You just want to cut WrestleMania down to like 6 matches. So far,
Yes.
from Mike,
yeah,
you have
you're
WrestleMania
right.
at like 4 matches long.
No, the
Six.
matches at WrestleMania, especially like we didn't need to be sitting there for 7.5 hours.
It's
You
WrestleMania.
could have
It's-
cut it
it's
down
gonna
by
be
at
7
least 2 hours, or at least have the matches that were there. Some of them could have gone a little longer, and some of them could have gone not nearly as fucking long. That's
We had
all
a
I'm
1
saying.
minute match.
My only gripe with WrestleMania is literally, yeah, you didn't need that 1 minute match, but it's literally the time. Because I'm not even going to want to go back and rewatch this for a while, because I'm going to break it up into fucking 4 days worth of watching. Because I'm not going to sit down for another 7.5 hours.
You're an old man.
Yeah,
I
you're
guess
right.
I am too. Fuck that.
Because
I'm not
that's
trying to
it's a
fucking
lot. I
watch
mean,
this
even the
shit
main
for
show is
8 hours.
fucking 5 hours,
That's work.
5.5 hours.
8 hours
our
is work.
most-
Damone, this is a
but-
quote from you. I'm not doing anything for 8 hours unless you're paying me to do it.
It wasn't 8 hours.
This is normal for you. This is
It wasn't 8 hours, so they didn't break the rule.
I'm just saying, I should come up, take the card, and put a card together with these matches within a
But-
decent amount of time.
But
Let's do that for Book It next week.
rearrange
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania?
Yeah, redo WrestleMania 35.
All right, that's possible. We'll talk. I'll call your people.
Your people will get it, my
Yeah,
people.
yeah, your people call my people. Damone, you're my people.
Okay. I refuse.
Kevin, you're my people.
I sure the hell am not.
I have no people. Honestly, though, before we go on any further, because I know we skipped over it because I just thought of something. I did. Damona said it. I was on Cry Alert for the Triple H match. I had Kevin on speed dial because if I was gonna cry, I needed to cry to Kevin because she would understand
wow.
me.
We're right
I get
there,
you.
but okay.
You guys wouldn't get it the way Damone would, but he's already crying.
I was asleep.
Yeah,
so
I'm
that's
not.
cool.
I'm no help.
Travis and I are like cry pals.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'd be no
can I
help.
cry to you today, my dude? Absolutely. Let's cry together. Sometimes we just call and cry at each other. Whatever. It's not a big deal.
So Kurt Angle, Baron Corbin.
It was what it was.
it was
I
a-
like that. I like that Kurt did the right thing and
Absolutely went out.
That's
He
what you're supposed to
lost.
do.
And I like the next match, the next night when he came out and then Lars fucked him up and then came out on SmackDown and fucked up the Hardys. He's just taken out Attitude Era wrestlers apparently. I that's what I've gotten so far.
He's
It's not
taking
the
out
best.
his heroes.
Oh, that would make sense.
Never meet your heroes. And if you do, murder all of them.
Yeah, there's not the-
Murder! All aboard the murder.
The murder train.
That
Or
should be a
if
theme
that's-
song.
yet?
Go ahead.
Are we at the Elias segment yet?
Oh, I think we
Oh
missed
shit!
that.
I forgot about the.
It's
Oh
not
my
even
God.
it's not even on the. I'm looking at the card, so I didn't even look at the segments. We'll just talk about the Elias
pretty
segment real
weird.
quick. It was a segment.
It
the
was
head
my-
Elias.
It had
It
Elias.
was my second biggest pop of the night. And all of my wrestling friends texted me, some variation of this is the greatest WrestleMania ever.
It took me.
I laughed. I loved it. It's funny.
It took me a whole minute to realize that John Cena wasn't coming out to his regular theme song.
Oh.
It took me a whole second, and I was like, "Oh shit, Thugonomics." The doctor, because I listened to both themes, so I don't know what you want me to tell you, but it was pretty cool. It was kind of weird to see him dressing up like a young him. In one way, he looked like the old guy trying to be cool, but then other times he looked like he was
Himself.
still like 20s. So it was a little weird. But at the same
know the
time, it
whole-
was.
I
I just
know
like
that.
the moments that he came out with the Yankees gear, and I said this on Sunday. Guys from Boston gets compared to as the Yankees of WWE by CM Punk, and then just comes out in all Yankees
Right,
gear
but
today.
that's what he did when he was at Thugonomics, Dr. Thugonomics. He would come out in that gear that town he was in.
That's fine, but especially you could have come out in Mets gear. Come out in
Why
New
would-
York
yeah, yeah.
gear.
Nobody cares
No
about
one
the
cares
Mets.
about the Mets.
And
And nobody
The
cares
thing that
about
was
baseball,
confusing,
but
the thing that confused the shit out of me was the baseball thing with Babe Ruth. I'm
Oh,
still
yeah.
completely confused.
The
Yeah.
by
Babe
that.
Ruth of WWE.
'Cause he's-
Michael Cole says that every time he comes out.
I don't
Also
listen to
said,
Michael Cole, so
if you look at the signs of the Babe Ruth, of the fact that he came out in Yankees, and the fact that CM Punk called him the Yankees, CM Punk returned 2019. I'm here calling it.
let's
I
not.
would love that.
Let's-
I
let's
think
not.
it's
Right.
never gonna happen.
Mike will quit this podcast.
I will not. I would just not watch. I'd skip over everything with him. That's all. Like I already kind of do.
but yeah, I thought it was good. I do know the whole the at least Cena's verse of that theme song by heart.
Oh,
yeah.
Dr.
Recite it.
Thugonomics. Word
Yeah, I
life.
know it.
This is basic Thugonomics. Basic Thugonomics. Word life. No, you're not gonna
I
follow
think
up.
you're untouchable, but
I'm forcing you
to feel me.
Whether
whether
it's
I'm
fighting
fighting
or
Or
spitting.
spitting.
My discipline,
Discipline
is
is
unforgiven. I
unforgiven.
got you backing
Got you
up
backing
in the
up
defensive
The
position.
position.
Aztec
Okay, I'm gonna
and
stop now.
Anthem. Heavyweight or Bantam. Oh shit.
Well, the cancer ransom, the microphone phantom.
Yeah, I see. I got most of it too. We're good.
That's
We're gonna
unfortunate.
we're gonna be a band. I think we came up with a band name last night, but I can't remember what it was.
Oh yeah.
Any,
Little holes.
anyways, the next match here, or unless anybody want to talk about Baron Corbin, Kurt Angle anymore.
No, we're good.
Because all right, so Finn Balor, Bobby Lashley. With Leo Rush, and I don't.
Oh wow, I forgot about that match.
Yeah, I mean, again. We were emotional coming down from Triple H Batista. That I mean, it
Were
was.
you emotional, Mike? Me and Travis were emotional.
I mean,
No,
the
no.
That was
emotions,
still my
but
emotion.
all right, I'm trying to sell a podcast here. Will you just fucking go with me? Damn.
How much are we selling it for?
$1. Anyways,
$2.
$2. Finn Balor, Bobby Lashley. I think Lashley did not deserve WrestleMania spot ever. So, yeah, Finn Balor winning is great.
I have one big problem with this match.
And that's Bobby Lashley.
That's the powerbomb spot. Speaking as a guy who literally cuts down to Finn Balor's weight, it's not unfathomable to be able to powerbomb a man of Bobby Lashley's size to lift him up and do that. So this idea that Finn Balor can only do it as a demon when channeling his inner, whatever you may call it, to be a superhuman.
Demon,
That's
his inner
the
demon.
story, though. I mean, that's the deal.
You're being as
It's
smart
okay,
as
it's
Kevin
fun.
was earlier.
I wasn't being smarky earlier. It was
I got that, but from one ripped small guy to another, I'm just saying that's not an impossible feat that needs to be like, holy crap.
But that's the story, and that's
that
why they
shouldn't be
built it up.
enough
You
to
talk about
fucking
story,
enough.
and they built up a fucking story for it, and they made it so that you could know that the demon is more powerful than
He
regular.
should have done the spin.
He's
He
like
should've
it's like
done the
Ultimate Warrior. I'm sure.
Cesaro's twirl.
That's the thing though, is they make it believable, and as me, who's not a strong person, I could believe that he can't pick up Bobby Lashley because Bobby Lashley is like 1,000 pounds of shit. So it's kind of hard to pick up shit.
Okay, so this
Anywho.
match was trash. Does anybody disagree?
Wait, no.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have something very important to say, and it's actually just about the demon gimmick. Actually, it's about the demon gear, very specifically.
Say it. I'm a fashionista. I'm ready
Which
for
part? The paint?
No, it's about the headdress.
I was about to say the headdress.
And here's the thing about the headdress. It's dope, except why are the strips of leather fucking belts? If you look closely at it, they have holes in them.
Do
Why
they?
are they belts?
I didn't
Yes.
know that.
Why
I
have
need
we
to go see that.
repurposed belts? Why is he wearing belts on his head? I want someone to answer me. He can afford to not have belts and just have normalized strips of leather that are whatever colors.
The demon
but
can't. The
instead-
demon has no money.
But instead,
The
they're
demon is
belts.
broke.
They have holes in them and everything, and I want to know why because they're belts, and I hate it.
I never
hate
even
it
noticed
so
that. I'm gonna have to
much.
go
I've
look.
never noticed that.
It drives me crazy every
Maybe
time.
it's the
'cause why
same
are they
gear.
belts?
Maybe he just has the same gear and he's using it because it's sentimental.
I did
I'm
appreciate
sure-
Bobby Lashley's contacts, though. Those were freaky as crap.
Oh yeah, that's the best part of Lashley was his fucking contacts.
I used to wear contacts
Fuck,
like
now
that.
I
when
can't unsee it.
Yeah, you're
Kevin.
welcome. You're welcome. Be upset.
No,
with
I'm
me.
looking at it. I don't think it's belts. I'm disagreeing.
It's belts. No, it's belts.
Somebody
there are holes
send
in
me a
it.
picture.
It's
Yeah,
belts.
it looks like
Holes-
there's a
holes
belt.
don't make it belts.
Somebody.
Why else would there be holes right down the middle?
It's
Everyone
all the
puts
way
out
up,
their
though.
phone. I don't know what to tell you, man. They're belts. They have holes in them.
But it's
It's
okay.
for when he
listen.
lets the demon out later on. You know what I mean?
Oh my God! the-
Wow.
Well-
we're moving on.
I'm hungry.
So the last match of the night, and boy, were we excited for the last match of the night. Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair. It was definitely a great match. You know, my number between this and the Shane and Miz match, that would be my number 2 or 3. I can't figure out which one I like more.
No, it's not this one.
This match was great, but I'll tell you, I legitimately was asleep for the finish. Like, just the finish. I watched the whole match. At the finish, I passed out. I just next thing I know is Becky won and Ruben's leaving. So it was a whirlwind
In that
from
order.
there.
It's just right that order. But I mean, as someone who's fell on concrete before, to watch Ronda Rousey take that bump where she's being hung by Charlotte and then drop kick by Becky
Ooh,
and then
yeah.
land she did. I'm just glad that she I heard she broke her hand. I don't know if it was on that spot, but I mean,
Yeah, she did break her
it could have
hand.
been a lot worse. So I am grateful that she is safer than what could have happened, because
Yeah.
that was. I mean, if it was worse, I could honestly see Travis Brown just jump over the barricade and just like break all rules and just check on her just really quickly. It was just one of those situations like, ooh, hope she's okay. But
It's tough.
match was well paced. I mean, all three, they're great. I mean, I know Kevin doesn't appreciate Ronda as much, but she plays her.
She does her job, and she does it well.
Yeah, she plays her. I could literally break you in a moment's notice if I felt like it.
Oh yeah.
Better looking strikes than the Miz and Shane McMahon. I never got to say that back then, but I mean, the finish. I've seen a lot of people talk about the finish. I don't really care. I was tired. I was exhausted. I thought it was going to end with a submission. I thought it should have been a submission match, but I get it. You don't want something as definitive just to leave that door open for Ronda. But again, I'm not going to try to think about what they're going to try to do in the future. I was ready for it to be over. So when it happened the way it did, I was like, oh, it's over? Okay, let's go.
Right. It's one thing to say when you've got wrestling fans just ready for it to be over. That's all I'm saying.
I think that was the only aspect that took away from the match itself, is the fact that it was just it started at midnight, and it was just all like, okay, I got work at 8:00 in the morning. Like, let's put on the match I know you ladies are gonna put on, and let's call it a night. But I would have to go back and watch that match like by itself when I'm not tired to really sit here and say or judge it any differently. But I love the match no matter what.
Go ahead, Kevin.
I loved the match. I do feel like the ending was a little bit weak. I think it could have ended with a submission. It could have ended with a knockout. Like, it could have ended with a really quick roll up like that, and that would have been fine. But I just felt like it looked like an accident. And it just felt like a little bit of an underwhelming finish. And I would have been ready to be like, oh, whatever. It was a great match. I don't really care. But it was the last match. And so I was just like, oh, okay. It made Mania feel unfinished to me.
Yeah,
and then I
agree.
was like, oh, okay. I thought like maybe they'll end with like fireworks or something crazy. And then it just like the pay-per-view started over on the network. And I was like, oh, okie dokie. I guess we're done. So it just made the whole pay-per-view feel a little unfinished to me, but loved the match. And honestly, I think it would bother me less if it wasn't the last match on the card.
I agree. I think the finish kind of took away from like Becky's moment, because it was kind of like, oh, that was it? We're done here? That was the end of the match? And there was no like big move. There was no finisher or anything like that. It was just roll up. Not even a good one. Two.
I think maybe Ronda was, if she broke her hand, maybe Ronda was struggling and in pain. They just needed to finish. I don't know what happened, and I'm sure they did the best with what they could because they're professionals and they're incredible. It was weird, but
the rumor is that the ref got fined because, like, I guess that was supposed to be the finish, that Becky would win on a roll up. But they told him essentially got fined because he should have waited until her shoulders were down again to start counting.
That sounds like dirt sheet bullshit. That sounds like dirt sheet trash.
It could be, but I could also see that because it is the referee. Like, it's part of the referee job to be like to make sure you do the finish right. Because I've seen times where like guys have forgotten to kick out, and the ref just make sure, like, 1, 2, oh shit, don't count to 3. If you see her shoulder come up, you need to go, wait a second, and then start the count again.
I want to, real quick,
so it looks clean.
I want to take a stance on this belt situation. I am in the camp that it is not belts.
Oh, the Finn Balor headdress belt situation.
Yeah, those belts.
Man.
It's not belts. Those aren't belts. Those holes go down too far, and I don't even think they're holes. I think they're just dots.
So why do they? No, they're not. They're not dots. Because if you watch it in video and you see it from several angles,
They're too far spaced out,
They're
Kevin.
too far spaced out.
No!
They're definitely
No,
not.
I'm on
First
you.
still.
I'm with you, Kevin. I think they're belts.
wrong.
And I also
I think-
noticed that it looks like he has zip ties in there too.
That's-
Yeah,
You're
there's
also
definitely.
wrong.
It definitely. No, it looks like a boondoggle. That's not a zip tie. Like there's
Or what the
boondoggles.
fuck's a boondoggle?
Boondoggles are those little, or those could even be chains. Those, but boondoggles is little plastic things. The I don't know. Go look it up.
Oh, I know what you're
Anyway,
talking about.
they
now. No, that's
anyway.
not those.
That's what it looks like. Those.
It could be those, I guess, but it's one of those two. I can see it being a boondoggle, but it's either
It's
a
definitely.
boondoggle or a zip
They're
tie. It's one
definitely
of those.
not belts, though. I definitely. That
Those are
definitely looks like
belts.
no.
It's absolutely belts.
No, they look like
If
they
you
look like
watch 'em-
ribbons. They look
if
like
you watch 'em-
ties.
No. If you watch him move, sometimes you can see the light shining through. They're not dots. They are belts.
I mean, they might have holes in it.
Okay,
but...
they're belts. They're belts.
No, oh, come on, you're gonna leave me
I'm done
here.
arguing with
We're-
this. I want to get to my point.
We're
I'm
go
done
to your
talking about
point.
Finn Balor's fucking belt head. It's not really even a point, it's a prediction.
All right.
This time next year, Travis Brown will be a full-time WWE superstar.
Oh fuck, God, no. I fucking hate. I don't like Travis Brown. Like, I don't mind MMA fighters. Obviously, I pop for Shayna. She's like probably.
She's definitely
She's probably
your
my
favorite.
favorite woman's wrestler right now. Probably, I would say between her and Becky. But yeah, I don't want Travis Brown in the WWE. I also don't want Gronk in the WWE either. We can stop
Gronk
with that
doesn't need it.
garbage.
Brock's not coming to WWE. We know that's not happening. He doesn't
Good.
need the money.
Yeah. Yeah, so this has been Book It.
Yeah, well, all right. That's WrestleMania. That's book it for WrestleMania 35 review. I think we definitely got into quite a bit there. We're not gonna do a pre-show. We're not gonna do a mini game because we're already running over on time.
We're already at 7.5 hours.
by almost like more than almost half the time, double the time.
Old man.
Anyway,
Yeah, I can't think of words still. And so that's book it. We're gonna go over plugs. Ruben, do you have anything you need to plug?
Nope, just
Nope.
some sleep.
Cool. Kevin.
I am not in the ring for the next probably month or so due to an unrelated injury. But if you do want to find out when I'm going to be wrestling again and you want to see clips and videos from my matches, do follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/Kaya March Wrestles, or on Twitter @Kaya March, KAIA March, like the month.
All right, and I'm going to go ahead and take care of the T1 plugs. You can go find all of our shows on the T1three Media Network at T1threemedia.com. That's the letter T, number 1, 3 spelled out, media.com. That link will also be in the description of this episode. And you can find Trigger Warning, Debatable, Lunch Lady Mantra, and any other news or anything we have coming up can all be found on the website, so make sure you go there and check it all out. That will be it. That is Book It. See ya.
Bye.